Alright everyone, I just wanted to let you know that I'm starting on the coilovers on the E90 325i 2006. So I got some Maxspeedingrod coilovers. They're doing alright so far with the setup. It's a lot easier putting this shit in than it is taking out the old stuff, I'll tell you that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the other side, start off on that side. But I could basically tell you that I probably set this at about 1.5 inches lower than what the stock setting was. So we're gonna see what that looks like, and I'm gonna probably lower the rear maybe a little bit lower than that, 2 inches. We'll see. But usually what you're gonna do to start off is you're gonna jack up the car, get it on some stands, whatever you got, take the wheel off, also add some spacers. You guys are gonna see what that looks like on with the stock wheels on and coilovers. So the car's gonna look all right for a stock car, pretty much. Yeah, so I'll start showing you everything on the other side. But yeah, it was such a bitch just getting out the first one, so I know I probably won't be able to get done with the second one today, at least in the front, but the rears I'll be able to get done in one day. Just because these have been in for over, what, 15 years now? 16, yeah, 16 years now. Alrighty, see you soon on the other side. Bang. Alright, things you're gonna for sure need some tokens. Just kidding. Definitely need some WD-40, some penetrating fluid. PB Blast would be the best. Spray down the strut area, the bolt, the nut holding the strut in, the control arm bolt over there, the control arm bolt over here, the nut down there. Spray all those down because you're going to need to loosen at least most of that. And then, depending on how your rust situation is, you're going to need to take out and spray the 3 up here. Looks like not really much holding this one in anyways. But the sway bar, if you have one, the not sway bar, but the, I'm trying to remember the name for it real quick, but yeah, the engine bar, whatever, E16, so it's a inverted Torx, E16, or external Torx, whatever they're called. And yeah, so we're gonna start loosening everything, getting the bolt nut off over here. And this is gonna be a bitch, and I'll show you guys soon. Oh, and also you're gonna need 16 millimeter for right here. Everything else is practically 18 millimeter, and then you're gonna need a 21 millimeter for down there. So let's get started. I don't have, or at least I would have had, but lost, my 18 millimeter socket. So I have a ratcheting wrench with an open end. That's gonna go on the nut side. All right, and then you can use an adjustable, but you got to get that shit on there good. So what I like to do, so I try to get it snagged up nicely. A good spot, like to figure out what's the best spot. So I'm trying to have it there. That's probably the best spot. Okay, yeah, that's the best spot right there. That way I can hold this down with one hand somehow, and then ratchet on this side. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. Excuse me, children. But I'm gonna have to do this off camera. Okay. After I used, my camera hand, phone hand, whatever you want to call it, to get this at least broken free, I can now slowly take her apart. I'm still gonna need 2 hands, but yeah, so at least start getting on that. Take that loose. You could keep it in there just for now, and then when you're gonna start to get the strut out, you'll take it off. So may not have to do that, but it's kind of my thing. So then we're gonna start on the 18 millimeter over here. Yeah, that way. That's gonna be the way. That's just tight as fuck. Alright. Oh yeah. Get it. And you only need to loosen these. You don't need to take these all the way out. So I probably get about that far. And on the other side, there's a nut and a bolt. I can't really see. Okay, yeah. So still a nut on this side. So this would be the side that you're gonna put your socket on. If you're lucky to have 2 sockets. Speed. Yeah, so adjustable on that bolt for me, and ratchet on that side over there. That's gonna take 2 hands, so I'll be right back. All right, so we got your loose over there, your loose over here, loose over here. We're gonna take you off in a little bit. Now we just gotta get this guy. Pinch. So I'm touching. There, I'm loose. Alright. Let's see. You can see my ratchet on there right now. This is gonna be a hard one too. I feel like a good angle. Oh, yeah. Oh, you get it. Is this for you that have the clapped out cars? This is the clapped out instructions to so this one you're gonna want to loosen a good amount. To be honest. I mean, maybe not too long. No, that one's good loose. Okay, so all 4 are loose. Now we can start getting the sway bar link undone. That's a 16. 16. And I got a socket for that one somewhere. Bam! We actually have a socket. With a weird size too, the 16. I didn't think these were my sockets to be in, but they're coming in handy. Alright, make it in there. Different way. I already got it broken free. Alright. So, you know to break that one loose. Now on the other side, I didn't have very much luck with this, so I had to completely take the sway bar link off. And so you would go down here, and you would loosen that one, and you would pinch it with the, at least that's what I had to, because clapped out. Pinch it with the vice grips, loosen it out until it comes off. And then beat the shit out of it till it comes out, or loosen it, one of the two. Let's get started. I'll show you guys when it's out. Alrighty, so I used vice grips on the top. As you can see, you would be able to get a wrench in there, but it's a tight spot. I just vice grip the shit out of it. I used the gun to get it off quick. Now you have basically your brake lines and everything you're going to detach from this bracket, unless you're going to keep the bracket for later, depending on what sway bar links or whatever you get. But I'll end up keeping these, but I'm going to take them off for now until I get my sway bar links, because I did not buy sway bar links with the coilovers I bought. And since I am lowering them to a certain height where this bracket would match up, I need adjustable sway bar links. So that'll be probably one of the next steps after this. But yeah, so vice grips, 16mm, gun it off if you have a gun. If not, ratchet the shit quick and come off. Get your brake lines off, get this brake line out, move everything out the way, because when you're gonna take this out, you're gonna want everything out of the way, because or else you're gonna damage something. So let's get started on taking off that bolt and nut, brake lines, everything out of the way, and then we'll get the last 3 bolts on top. Alrighty. The moment you guys have been waiting for. So we removed that bolt, loosened everything up, got the sway bar link off. all the lines disconnected. Now we just gotta take these 13 millimeters out. And then this one, like I said, take out the E16. You'll be able to move this out of the way. You gotta do it on both sides to be able to move it around. There goes the shock. Went down quick. A lot easier than the last one. Last one took a lifetime. But that was because I didn't have everything loose. Probably should have supported that shit, but you know, lab life. Don't support me, support me. I don't know. But I can definitely say, well, at least it went down on the bad side. I can definitely say that this shit is coming out. Now the hardest part is this part. And you'll see in just a second. I'm just gonna take it and pull it under the fender. Give me a second off camera. All right, she's practically out, sorta, kinda. All right, so usually there's a tool that people use. It's like a spreader tool, I forget what it's called, a Slixler tool, something like that, German. But they usually put like a bit in there and the person spins it on a ratchet and it spreads it open. Now, we don't got those kind of privileges here. By the way, you're gonna wanna save that little top piece from your strut so you can actually save a little bit of vibration from the front end. What was I gonna do? Yes. Bam! Good old American way. Everybody's gonna be like, oh no, don't do that, you're gonna cost it. But this is the only way I can do it, and I'm not gonna spend $60 on a special tool or $40 on a special tool for some eBay coilovers. Literally, like, if I had the tool, trust me, this would make it a billion times easier, and that's probably why everybody would comment, well, you do it so it makes your life easier. But I don't like making my life easier, do I? I like doing things the hard way. Spread them cheeks. No homeo. Just quoting things from the page, right? It's not homeo if you say it's from a movie. In there, really spread that shit good, spray this shit good, because you're gonna be beating the fuck out of this thing out. You may cause some damage, but I was able to get it in there with the new coil in, no damage, tighten that shit up. Hopefully it doesn't snap under pressure, right? Because that's all we can hope for in clap life. That we call it. But yeah, so gonna love this. Alright, this is for those of you that have had a car that's needed the life beaten out of it so you can take parts out, because the only thing holding this thing in is this. And I can't just twist it out. Yeah. That's for the people with the nice M3 that's Philistines that have been looped up every 5 years. This is the master tool. This saves all lives. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this shit, pull on it like a billion times, because that's how I did it the other side. That's why everybody's gonna be like, why didn't you just use the tool? And eventually that thing will come out if I'm lucky. Just gotta keep spraying it down with WD-40. Beating the shit like as if you're doing lefty loosey, because it'll come out that way a lot easier. So you keep going around and around and around. Try not to beat the crap out of your car. But I already got a beat up car, so it doesn't really matter. And it'll come out. And then you preset your coilover to the setting you want. And I guess I can show you that after I beat this out. But that might be by tomorrow. Alright, see you later. And just like that, she's in. I guess I didn't really get to the part where I show you how I get it in, but or the measurements I do, but I'll show that I guess on the rear coilovers. But basically, get it out of there, push it in with the sleeve in here, get the bolt nut in, use a jack to jack this up to get this into place, put the 3 nuts on top, and then start tightening everything up. Around here again to do some adjustments. So as you can see, I put the 2 collars up top pretty close to where I needed them so I can drop the shock tower length. So what I'm gonna do is, since these are tight together, I have to hold one up here to make sure I'm keeping it tight up here so it doesn't compress the spring anymore. And I'm using one up top over here to loosen, or like, to loosen. And as that loosens, it's gonna push this down into the shock tower, whatever you call it. And that overall will cause this to lower the vehicle. So I do that for about, I raised it a little bit too much, so it's probably about 3 to 4 inches, and then we'll see where we're at. We're getting started on the rear passenger side over here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to loosen up that right there. It's 21 on both sides, and we're gonna loosen that one up. We're gonna eventually take this one off so we can get the spring out of there, and then we're gonna take the strut, the shock. We're gonna have to do the top 2 bolts in the trunk area. You have the battery for this one, and then the other one's on the other side. So let's get started. I got me my 21 ratcheting wrench and a 21 socket. It's gonna work out. I'm gonna loosen up that one first, and then start to get this one close to taking off. That way we can start going up and taking off the other bolts for the top. Let's do it. Alrighty, so I loosened the bolts back here. That's a 21 on that side, and the other side is a 18 on this side over here. And then both of these are 21s right there, and on the other side here. Now what we're gonna do is we have to put a jack right under where basically the spring perch, whatever you call it, is holding the spring. So you put that to relieve some pressure off. When you're gonna take this bolt off right here, not that one, that one. And then when you take that off, this is gonna come down. So you're gonna slowly let down the jack, and the spring will come out, and then the shock will be pretty much ready to take out once you take off those 2 bolts on top. Took the bolt and the nut out, looks like that. We're gonna slowly let the jack down, see how this goes. Jack is down, the spring hasn't come out yet, but let's see if we'll be able to get it down with a little bit of massaging. Come over to the trunk. Let's just act like this was still in the stock position. In order to get this out, you would twist this way, pull it out of the battery cage area, and then there was 4 of these little push pins, plastic pins, holding in the trunk right here, there, up there, and then there was one, I believe, on that side. And then once you get in here, you're gonna have a 16mm, hopefully like a ratcheting wrench, something like that. You can loosen, and then you're gonna need to go like a 1/4 inch, and like a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 1/4 inch on it. And then you're gonna leave that and tighten while you loosen with the ratcheting wrench, so that way the nut will come off and the shock will come down. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna loosen that all the way, and we'll get down back to the bottom after that. And this is what she looks like when you get her out. It's a nut with a little bushing attached to it. All right, back to the bottom. Alrighty, there was one more nut on the bottom of the shock. That was a 17mm. It was directly on the bottom where the shock goes underneath here. So I removed that, and then I just pushed down the shock, and everything came down with it. So we're just gonna take the spring out, take the shock out, get everything ready to put the new stuff in. All right, there was still 2 more that I needed to take out. They were on the sides, and they are a E12, I believe it is. E12. They look like this. You're gonna go from the bottom. Move those 2, and the shock will come right out. Bam! Let's get the new stuff. Alrighty, so we've got this down. The first thing we're gonna do is get the spring in there. Now you can tell that this spring is gonna be a lot stiffer than the stock spring. It's about a few inches smaller. And then you have to fit this piece right here on top of it. Make sure everything's tight when you get it in there. I'm gonna go for pretty low on how the spring is gonna be set up. And then you're gonna set that in there like this on top. You're gonna fit this in first, this end in first on that rubber, and then you're going to put it together once you get the shock ready to go. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Okay, so you're going to get these in there, and when you put it up there, you're going to take the nut off of here. I got the size for that. I think it's going to be a 18 or a 19. We'll see in a second. I definitely got it. But you're gonna make sure that when you put this in here, you wanna make sure this is all the way up, and you're gonna have this tightened down. You get 2 of these usually with whatever coilovers you get. I got the cheapo Maxspeedingrods, so tighten it down. And then same thing for that one. You wanna make sure that's all tight before you get going. And now I'm gonna use the jack to lift these up and get these basically squared away. I'm gonna put I already put the 2 E12s on, because that was just like a little bushing that was still stuck on the old shock that you can see right there is definitely done. But yeah, so I'm gonna put the nut that's on the bottom and then use the nut on the top. We should be good to go. Alrighty, once you've tightened up everything, notice that this came with a washer and a nut. I also used a little rubber bushing that was on the original. Make sure that that was nice. This should be your end result. Everything in. Now we're gonna put the wheel on. We're gonna start on the other side. Okay, other side's already prepped. Everything's already out. Now I'm gonna have to adjust this once it's in the car, obviously. Some people are pretty good and they can set it up one way, but so what I was saying earlier is you're gonna want to have this piece all the way up as far as it goes, and then you're going to put this piece on top and tighten it as much as you can, and then you take the nut and the washer off that come with it, nut and washer, and then you're going to mix it with the bushing. Just a second, I'll show you. I can stand up. The old bushing that comes off. Is this it? The old bushing that comes off, this piece. So what I did is I tore this bushing off of this because these hooks go in through it, and then I just attached that bushing to the bottom of this washer and the nut on top when I put the shock through. And you'll see that in just a moment. Alright guys, this is the end result so far. Nice slam in the rear. Still got some stuff to do in the front, so I'm not going to completely slam it yet, but kind of liking how it looks. A little slammed in the rear. Maybe another 2 inches in the front, 1.5 inches. Be perfect. Got the hood off at the moment. Let's turn these headlights on. I don't know if you guys saw, but your steering wheel is in, and it is dope. Just so y'all can see halos. Now I have a bumper I'm going to be buying soon, and a hood I'm probably going to be getting soon. Other than that, next video will probably be subframe bushing inserts. Until then, slammed enough in the rear for you guys?